Meet Joe and Fred, two landscapers in the town of Work Opportunity. With a gross sales of $1 million, both of them were in the upper 3% of all landscape companies in the nation. Every so often, they got together to talk business, and this snowy morning, it was Dinah's Cafe. Well, Joe, we did pretty well last year. We both made 10% profit after salaries and expenses. That's better than most. I would say we both deserve a pat on the back for a job well done. I agree, but I really feel like I could do better. $100,000 is good profit, but I feel that I'm still missing something that could really push my company to the next level. You know, I agree. Let's challenge each other to increase profit by 10%. That would mean $110,000. Same place, same time next year. Let's compare notes. Winner pays for breakfast. So they both left with a spring in their step, ready to figure out how to increase their profit by at least 10%. Fred gathered his team and looked at his company. They had 10 crews that produced about $100,000 in sales, each with 10% profit or $10,000. He would add another crew and get the 10% additional profit he wanted. He set the process into motion. With 22 production workers, he needed to hire another 2 plus a part-time employee to take on the extra work. He started the interviewing process and got hiring. His staff started searching for another truck, trailer, mowers, etc. to outfit the new crew. Next, he focused on increasing marketing. He offered some discounts, passed out 10,000 flyers. He even got a small HOA by underbidding the competition. A lot of work, some extra hours, but he knew it would all be worth it. By the end of the year, he had grown 10%, and his bottom line was a healthy 10% higher. He couldn't wait to tell Joe, and he didn't even mind paying for breakfast. Joe left the meeting thinking. He remembered attending a CLIP conference a few years ago, where the speaker showed that typically a third of your client base is actually costing you money, as if you were paying nothing and you left a $5 bill at their door at every service. After implementing the CLIP program, he realized he forgot to run that job costing report that shows exactly how much per hour each customer is paying him. He knew that to cover all his costs and make 10% profit at the end of the year, he had to make $38 per man per hour on each job. Once he ran the report, he was astounded to see that sure enough, 110 of his 300 customers were making him less than $38 an hour. Another 100 were making him $39 to $43 an hour, and the other 90 were actually above $43 an hour, the highest grossing him at 64. Through the next week, he came up with a pretty radical plan. Pretty radical, but the math pointed to the fact that it would be a great move. He was going to raise prices on all of the lower 110 customers, and if they didn't accept the price, he would be happy to watch them walk away. Joe was nervous. His whole career had been about growing the company. What he was about to do would probably make him lose customers. But why should he keep them if he was paying them to mow their lawn? Joe shared the plan with his management team. Dan, his operations guy, protested. Do you realize that we will be doubling some of these prices? That is insane. How do we expect to grow if we do this to our customers? Yes, we will probably lose most of these, but you need to realize that the other customers are subsidizing them. We're taking money from the customers that are priced right and giving it to the customers that are underpriced. Is that fair? No, I suppose it isn't fair to the good customers, the employees, or the company for some of the customers to get a free ride. Well, I get the idea of raising the prices to all the customers that are costing us, but what are we going to do with the ones who are above our goal? If they are satisfied with our quality, and we are satisfied with what we charge, let's just keep this relationship going. In fact, let's send them a gift. The next thing we need to figure out is why. Why are we making such good profit on these? Then we'll go out and find more like them. Everyone in the room started getting the vision for what had been going through Joe's mind over the last few months. So, if we identify our best customers, then we can figure out how to find more like them. That makes a lot of sense. It seems like we've been floating through business up until now. We just took everything we could and hoped for the best. Now, we'll start to be proactive about becoming the company we want to be. This is exciting. In the end, only 31 out of the original 110 customers accepted the new pricing structure, but they were all set at the $40 an hour mark. Joe now had only 221 customers out of the original 300. He got a sinking feeling in his gut when he realized that the gross sales for this year would be under $1 million. In fact, it would be only $775,000. But that wasn't such a bad thing. Because of the smaller customer base, he was able to cut one whole team out, getting rid of the employees that were headaches to deal with anyways. He was also less stressed. He got off earlier in the afternoons, took a day off here and there, and even got out on that vacation his family had been dreaming about. At the end of the year, he added everything up. To make only 10% profit, he needed to make $38 an hour. But after changing the prices, his lowest customer was $40 an hour, and the average of all his customers was $45 an hour. That leaves an additional $7 an hour in profit on top of the 10%. He ran another reporting clip to find he had completed 23,000 production hours. That means he had an extra $161,000 in profit, plus the original 10%, $77,500, making a grand total of $238,500. But that wasn't all. He looked in QuickBooks. He had actually made $255,000 in profit because his costs went down, his employees were happier, which in turn made his company run more efficiently. And on top of that, at the end of the year, everyone got a sizable bonus. Why did I wait so long to implement this? He asked himself. As he walked into Dinah's cafe, he thought about how happy he would be to pay the bill. Approaching Fred's table, he remembered that same conference speaker had spoken about using piecework to motivate your employees. Maybe he needed to look at that a little closer.